Okay. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, this is Ted Williams, the man with the golden voice.
Hey.
And I wanted to, I don't know what the topic is or whatever, but I wanted to wish all of the WWGH listeners a big, happy New Year. I know it's the 3rd, but what I want to mention is today is the anniversary of my viral video.
That's right, Ted. It was, what was it? How many years ago today?
January 4th, 10 years.
10 years ago today, the man with the golden voice, Ted Williams, was there. What street was it in Columbus, Ted?
71 in Hudson on the north end of Columbus by Cruz Stadium.
Oh, my goodness. And the Columbus Dispatch, Doral Chenoweth, got a video of you there. It went viral, and you, the next day, were doing the intro on the Today Show.
Isn't that something?
10 years ago today.
So what are you doing now, Ted?
Well, I'm doing a lot of great things, first and foremost, and I apologize if I just called in just on something that I wasn't able to keep a track of. But what I'm doing today is I have a new book out. It is somewhat of a part 2, and I forget the title of it, but my manager, Scott Anthony, is working on it particular. So I also have a reality show called Second Chance with Ted Williams, and we have 2 networks we're shopping 2 networks that's very interested in it. We're just trying to get our percentages and whether they want to buy it and all of that kind of thing. I'm still doing voiceover work. I haven't done any imaging for any television stations or radio stations. WWGH is my home station. I call that my home station. You know, it's not one of my stations that I just appear on. I call it my home station because I'm always welcome home at WWGH, Marion's #1 station, I have to say, when it comes to great talk radio.
Well, Ted, my goodness, a decade ago, Charlie and I, we all remember when this, we were on the air talking about this when Ted was found there, and with that great voice. Ted, what have you learned in this decade? What has been the high and what's the low?
Well, you know, I lost my mom after not seeing her for over 15 or 16 years, physically touching her and hugging her and kissing her and looking in her eyes. But I lost her, and that was one of the down points of this whole thing, because I didn't get a chance for her to really, really see what was going on. But she did manage to live long enough. And I want to tell all your listeners, your mom might detach from you. She may be pissed off at you, but one thing you can rest assured, that your mother is praying for you, or your grandmother is praying for you, or your sister, or your auntie, whomever is in your life immediately. Know one thing, that there's power in prayer. And that's what helped me through all of this. My mother continued to pray for me. So I did learn that. Number 2, I learned to be grateful for little blessings and not always expect big things to come from the Lord above, in which the faith of a mustard seed does move mountains. I did also learn that don't trust everybody. Don't put all your trust in man's hands. And I'm not saying have that certain discernment or judge somebody because they look a little shady or they speak a little. I'm talking about just don't put all your eggs in one basket. I, on the other hand, have learned through that experience of bad management, people taking money from me, taking advantage of a person who hasn't thoroughly investigated something, and they're more, you take it upon yourself to feel more that they're so excited about things, and they're distracted from what the primary focus should be, like whether it's a relationship or other contractual agreements and money. You know, a lot of people are into this just for the greed part of it. You know, I make money, money doesn't make me, those kind of things. And most importantly, I learned the purpose. I learned having friends, and what's a friend and what's an associate and what's a just somebody you meet in an encounter. You know, I learned the true meaning of friendship. And Scott Spears, you have truly, you and the rest of your staff have truly been friends, and for that I'm very grateful.
Well, we appreciate that. Ted, I have a question for you. If you were writing that sign today that you had on the side of the road, what would you be writing on it today, 10 years later, a decade later?
I love you, Scott. You dig up some good questions. Let's see. What would I write on that sign? You know what? I wouldn't change a word. To be honest with you, I wouldn't change anything. The only thing I probably would say on it is keep me in your prayers.
Ted,
that's probably the post note of it.
Ted, real quick, give us what you said on that viral video 10 years ago today that made you a national star. What'd you say to Doral as he was driving by?
When you're listening to nothing but the best of oldies, you're listening to Oldies B97 or Oldies 106.3.
and it was off and running from there for a decade. Ted, thank you so much for calling in on this great anniversary.
All right, my friend, I love you very much. And all of you, the panel and everybody, remember, keep me in your prayers.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ted.
All right, bye-bye.
See, this is why you never know what's going to happen on WWGH Radio.
Yeah.
10 years to the day.
10 years.
January 3rd, 2000, wow. Ted, the Golden... and we were on the air at that time, you, me, and Marianne Michaels talking about... And Fritz the Night Owl, I remember.
Yes,
just popped in my head. Well, there's an interesting subject to wrap up today's show. How about this 10 years with Ted? Who would have thought, Charlie, he'd sit in on shows with us and be at Christmas parties and...
Yeah, he's done well with his self.
And got himself cleaned up and did very well. Mike, what do you remember that, I'm sure?
No, I don't. I wasn't part of the station just yet.
No, but you remember the national news and being on Dr.
Yes.
Phil and all that. What do you think of this man being found in Columbus and the next day he was on the Today Show?
I think it's amazing and goes to show you that there is hope for all of us.
There is hope. And there is hope one day that we will find out when Marion was founded, where Eber Baker's buried, why we claim President Harding from here, the whole bit. Well, for Charlie, for Mike, and for me, we're done and for Ted, the Golden Voice, thanks for calling in. That wasn't planned, but that was fun.
That's good.
Yep, we're going to wrap up today, and guess what? More programming right around the corner, and much more programming always to come right here on WWGH Radio.
Not just in the housing market. I'm talking about globally. Our United States government is spending more money